Hi, it's Alli Jordan. Welcome to Secrets to Scale, our look at strategies to help independent RIAs drive growth. My guest today is Lisa Graham, CEO and co-founder of Graham Media Partners. Graham Media Partners is a marketing agency that specializes in creating content for the financial industry. Today, they support firms of all sizes, like large corporations, Envestnet, SEI, and Lincoln Financial, or smaller RIAs as well. So today they're supporting 30 independent RIAs and advisory firms. Welcome, Lisa. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thanks, Alli. Really excited to be here.
So we've been working with you guys and we've seen a dramatic increase in our social presence. So I think it's so important for the advisors that we work with and the advisory firms out there to really understand how they can incorporate a marketing strategy into their practice. One of the things that we found with you guys is your knowledge of the financial industry really just got us up to speed so much faster. Can you talk a little bit about the background of Graham Media and how you guys are so professional in the financial industry space?
Yeah, sure. So my husband, Steve, and I, we started Graham Media Partners about 6 or 7 years ago. And since that time, we've evolved into working primarily with companies in financial services, Alli, like you just said. Initially, we thought that we would be working with small mom and pop stores like your local yoga studio or the restaurant down the street. But that really evolved almost immediately to B2B and then specifically financial services, because that's where my background was. And as Jay alluded on his episode with you, we were really first driven by the desire to start something new. Steve and I really wanted to create something of our own where our team could be really nimble. We could try new things. Because as you know, as the financial services industry is always changing, marketing, I would say, is constantly evolving. And so we wanted a small team to experiment and have something of our own.
I love that. And I feel whenever we first met you all, we felt the synergy of that because it's very similar to Trey and I's philosophy and our team's philosophy of being nimble, everything ever evolving. And so having a team that can support that, I know we've just really enjoyed working with your team because you guys do such a great job with that and the industry that's ever changing. So, for us, we didn't have we might have had a LibertyFi LinkedIn. We started that had like 3 followers or something along those lines. But so for advisors out there that don't have a digital presence, how do you even recommend they get started with that? Because sometimes it's so overwhelming to think about it that you just can't even get started.
Yeah, this is a really good question. So first, I would say put in some work and really refine your company messaging and your key differentiators. Especially if it's been a little while since you last did that. And it's important to really think about what sets you apart. We meet with advisors all the time and go through messaging sessions, and we hear a lot of the same answers over and over again. They'll say, we provide really personalized client service, or things like that. And like everyone says that, you might think it is unique to you, but you really have to dig a little deeper to get at what really sets you apart. And then next, I'd look at your target audience. Are you looking for millennial clients, baby boomers, high profile executives? They're all going to be on a different place. For example, all of them are likely to care about LinkedIn, but millennials will also care about Instagram, and they're going to want to watch videos. And baby boomers might care about Facebook and they want to print out checklists. So once you have a really good understanding of your own messaging and target audience, I think then you're ready to get more active online and you can expect to see results.
Yeah, it's so true of the different understanding where your audience is. And speaking of that, I feel like in the past year, especially for us or for me, LinkedIn has kind of become the next social media craze. It's almost the first social media that I now check instead of Instagram, whenever I'm looking at something. And maybe that has to do with COVID, just people kind of wanting to interact. And I feel like in our industry, we missed out on the conferences that we're used to being able to see people. And so kind of gave us a network to still keep in contact with our business colleagues. But so do you have any kind of statistics around LinkedIn and advisors that are engaging there and kind of what they've seen if they have, had a digital presence on LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure. So here's a couple stats off the top of my head. So over the past year, while everyone's been working from home and things have been different, the conversations on LinkedIn amongst connections have nearly doubled. The amount of content shared on LinkedIn went up 60%. LinkedIn Live events went up nearly 500%. So it's really important to be a part of that conversation. We've seen speaking opportunities originate back to LinkedIn posts, advisors getting leads and ultimately getting new clients. And we can track all of this back to social media using reporting. And not only is it a great place to connect with other people, but it can be a really great place to drive traffic back to your site. We've seen clients increase their web traffic by nearly 10,000%, which almost sounds like I made that up, but just by using a combination of, revamping their website, adding some content there, and then getting a more robust social presence. So for a multitude of reasons, it is an important tool and it's a good place to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And I think another thing that was surprising to me was just the reporting that you can, the data side of it, which we know is so important on every other aspect of business, but I never even thought about it from kind of a marketing digital perspective until we engaged with you all. And that's been, really eye-opening to see what people are clicking on, what they're going to on your website. It really gives you an idea of what people want. So that's been something to me that I didn't even realize was out there. So, we've talked about the different platforms that are out there. What about some of the content that you all put out or are seeing, how do you, there's so much content and some of it, to your point of the same messaging, some of it's just the same over and over. So what are some of the ideas or ways to put out content that people are actually going to want to read or look at?
Yeah, so in terms of what to share, some initial ideas could be company blog posts. You could share things that your partners have shared, and they might return the favor by then sharing your content and exposing you to a bigger audience. If you share industry articles, it's important to add in even just a really short caption, having a really like a snapshot of what your perspective is, because not everyone is going to click through and read the article. But if they could skim over it and at least see, that you're sharing relevant articles and kind of get an idea about how you feel about that topic, that's an important thing to do. And then one other aspect that can be overlooked, but it's really important, are your graphics. You could use a simple stock photo, and that is better than just using no photo at all. But if you can, you want to personalize it. You want to add your logo to it, make sure it's in your, complements your branding and your colors. Maybe add a button to it. If you want to go a step further, try video. Video gets a much higher engagement rate than static graphics do. And then no matter what you're sharing, do look at your analytics at least monthly, if not weekly, and see what people are looking at and what they're clicking through. And from there, you can get a sense of what's working, what's not working. And then if you have to change gears, you can have more confidence because you have all that data to back you up.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that's, one of the things that we've tried to focus on is we have, so many ideas, but what do people actually want to see or care about, and what in the space is relevant to the advisors that we're working with. And I know when you and I kind of thought about doing this, because we want to make sure we're putting content out there that's relevant to our advisors' practices so they can continue to grow and know what's out there and available to them. So That's all been great. So one of the, as you know, the question we're asking all of our guests, what is your number one tip for advisors looking to achieve scale, and specifically in the marketing world for you?
Yeah, so I'm going to change gears a little bit. I'm
Oh,
going to talk about something, not digital,
okay.
because there's a lot that you could say when it comes to marketing, a lot of things to try, but one thing that's a little different, but I think does yield results, is having a robust client appreciation program.
Mm.
And sometimes it can really be an afterthought, or maybe you don't think about it as marketing at all, but they work. We've implemented client appreciation programs, whether really simple to really robust, at least 15 different advisors now. And it can be just acknowledging a client's birthday. You know that they moved, maybe they got a new grandchild. A good place to get this information is Facebook or Instagram. So if advisors are able to friend their clients, if that doesn't feel too weird, depending on the person, definitely do it, and get a little glimpse into their family and into their life. It can be as simple as just shooting them a text, just letting them know you're thinking of them, you're celebrating this with them. Some advisors, get really scientific. They break their clients out into A, B, C, D, E categories, and it could be, based on their different persona, like how old are they, or what are their challenges, or what are their assets under management. And then depending on the category, they reach out to them at different times with different things. It could be, something like serving them a cappuccino with a cinnamon monogram when they come into your office. It can run the gamut, and it doesn't have to be super, extravagant. But I think the important thing is just to have some kind of program that's documented. And for every advisor we've implemented some kind of program with, it works. We get feedback from 15 out of 15 that it was worthwhile, and they get really good feedback from their clients.
That's such a good point. I remember whenever I had Annie, the amount of people that sent me just a little happy, and you're like, that person thought of me to like make an effort to do that whenever I just had my first baby. I mean, it's just, I think that little bit of extra thought just goes a really long way for people. So that is a great tidbit that I hope everyone takes to heart. Well, this was awesome as always, talking to you. You are so professional, and your team does just such a good job in this space. We have reaped the benefit of working with you guys. So I highly encourage everyone out there to check out Graham Media and Lisa in particular on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, so you can really see what they are doing. And if you're interested in even more, reach out to them to see how you could engage to develop that marketing strategy for your firm to help you guys grow your businesses. So Lisa, thank you.
Thanks, Alli.